Hello guys, welcome to Piggies in a Blanket podcast. This is our first actual podcast on Spotify. And we have had 2 trial runs before on my YouTube channel, Kejo. For those who are on the Spotify version, type Piggies in a Blanket podcast on YouTube and you'll find our YouTube version of this. And for those who are actually on my YouTube channel, because I'm going to have a small entire cut of this podcast on there too. The link is in the description, so thank you everybody who is joining in. Now, because I want to have this as a little of a special version, because usually on my podcast, we usually have from 1 to 3 other people joining into the conversation to get more of an input. But because it's a special occasion, I thought, yes, let's make this a solo podcast where I can actually discuss some things that I think is really important, probably something you can improve as a person, because this is the reason for Piggies in a Blanket podcast, is to improve while other people are sleeping, meaning grind while there's nobody watching, or grinding while the other people are sleeping. Because I want to improve people and I want to help people. That's my goal. I want to make people proud and guide them to the right path, because I'm trying to help people. It's something that I enjoy to do. Now, I'm going to share personal experience with you, because me as the age of 21, yes, I understand I'm barely an adult. But I've had many life experience regarding this, and this is something I believe is actually necessary to any person actually. And then that's the first rule. I got this from several other successful people that I've seen online, or joining into the podcast, or getting some of their knowledge from the internet. And this is one thing that I know. You gotta handle things by yourself. I'm saying this. In your life, there's going to be a situation when your friends are probably going to part ways, or you're going to be alone in a different city. Especially for me, I'm probably going to move to another country in about 4 to 5 years. And I'm preparing myself to, be alone, try to get new experience, try different things, or that has happened to me in my past. People disappearing, and for you to actually handle this and for you to understand, you gotta always improve yourself. This is a life lesson that I got taught from many other successful people, and I've learned through the years to understand, okay, I don't always need the company of other people to validate myself and my presence, if I can say so myself. Because there are going to be situations, because me, I'm an extroverted person, and I actually enjoy talking with people. I enjoy the conversation and the possibility that I can have with people. But I still prefer, and I could understand that I can rely on other people, yes. But I feel like as a person, I always need to improve myself. There's always going to be instances where I'm alone, where I am not always relied and surrounded by my friends or family. There's going to be tough times. I gotta understand mentally, prepare myself mentally and my physical body to a point where I actually can handle this. And this is something I got from motivational speeches. Yes, I understand. He listens to motivational speeches. Oh my god, what cringe. I think it's really successful, because every time I turn on the music or turn on beats, there's always one line that I will never forget. You gotta prepare yourself mentally. You gotta prepare yourself. Meaning to handle different processes and to handle different situations, you're always going to train. You always gotta to surround yourself with negative thoughts. I'm not talking about depressive thoughts, I'm talking about negative. If you can handle the pressure and you're gonna start on moving forward, by the time of a year, you're going to be able to handle that without any doubt, without any problems. For an example, 2 years ago, my girlfriend of 2 years and my childhood friend of 8 to 10 years. We were in a long-lasting relationship, but suddenly she got pregnant with another man's kid, and I got devastated. Truly devastated. It was one of the most horrible things that have happened during that situation. I'm not saying it's still as bad. I'm not saying it's not as bad as it was back then, but I'm saying now 2 years later, it's happening something similar to me again. But this time, I felt like I was able to handle because of my mental toughness. Because a lot of different things has happened, and a lot of different things has made me realize I have strengthened myself to a point where I can handle these kind of situations without any problems. And I feel now that I surround myself with all the diverse type of people that actually challenge myself, not only mentally but also physically, to a point where I can understand what I've needed to grow. Sure, it's always not fun to have a... Sure, it's not always fun, and life is not always supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be through hardships and mental toughness you're actually going to improve yourself. Sure, it makes me sound like, oh, I know everything, I know this and rather this, and I can deduct from your situation you need this. No, I'm not saying this in any way, shape, or form that I am a knowledgeable person about this. But through my experiences, the things that I've done, I understand what I have made good. And I feel like every person needs to expand their mental toughness. Because majority of the times nowadays we live in a world where majority of mediocrity is rewarded. And yes, that's a line I actually stole from a motivational quote. But it is true. Nowadays, in your life, you're going to be having many instances where you're going to be alone. And there's going to be moments where you're not happy. Maybe it's parents passing or your loved one cheating. It's always going to happen something. It's not going to be depressive thoughts like those, or maybe it's just going to be mental problems. In a situation where you're in depressive or anxious thoughts, yes, I understand that. I've had depression since the year of 12, but it all depends on how you look on the situation. For an example, I enjoy, not enjoy, but how can I say this in the most comfortable way? I feel like every tough situation is something you can learn from. By the time of me recording this at 11th of August, probably 2 to 1 week ago, there was just a small beef about me with another YouTuber. And during that time, I had 2 different surgeries. I had one teeth problem, and my girlfriend broke up with me, and also my exams are coming up. It's a terrible, stressful situation. It's not one of the it's not one of the most favorable situations, but I gotta agree, it actually made me learn something. That's one thing that I thought people should actually understand. Not every bad point in your life is always terrible. And this is a quote and with a quote that made me realize why it's not always a bad point is every moment in your life, it's there to teach you something. And I honestly thought that was one of the best lessons that I could, and honestly, that was one of the best quotes during that time I could relate to. Sure, my surgeries wasn't saying, okay, I wasn't taking care of enough of my health, or I was too stressed, I needed a way to meditate. Because according to the doctor, I should meditate more, I shouldn't be as stressed, I should take some way to relieve my stress, and I got a lesson out of it. And my teeth problem was that I was actually in an accident and just screwed up. I should be more careful. Or the way my girlfriend broke up with me is because of school. It's education. It was in a terrible time. But I gotta understand, people have needs. They need to take care of school before they actually take care of a relationship. It's understandable. And also, that's something they can relate to doing things alone. You gotta make understanding that every situation in your life is something you can either learn or it's a valuable lesson. It's not always a terrible thing or it's a terrible matter of subjects. It just is. The more you comprehend the fact, every valuable, every negative or positive moment in your life is always something to make a lesson out of it. I understand during those times you don't always think right, you're always negative or what is happening. But it's always good to find positive in yourself and make yourself understand how you should improve yourself, how you should improve looking at different things at different perspective, something like that. And I honestly feel like that's a valuable lesson for me because I've tried to handle it in a more successful way than I would have been able for 2 years ago. And for me, I'm still growing as a person. I'm not going to ever stop growing, because if I stop growing, I would never go to the next maximum, because I want to enjoy a life where I'm comfortable of always trying my best. Because I've tried this comfortable life living, not succeeding too much, not trying too much, and just stay at home and watching television. It's not a life for me. It's too much of an average life. I'm not saying average is terrible in any way, shape, or form, but I don't feel like it's fit for me. For those people who are probably watching this on YouTube or listening to this on Spotify on the way home or during work time, it is amazing. I am a person that loves to have a busy schedule almost every day. Waking up at 3:30 in the morning, rise up, take a run, eat, go to the gym, eat, work or study for like an hour until it's 8:30 in the morning. Then continue on your days, either studying the entire day until 5 or 4 in the afternoon, or work to 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And after that, you gotta put your soul and your work into YouTube. That's my passion for the moment. It's my passion of making YouTube videos or making people laugh or trying to be better as a person. That is what I enjoy. And after that, probably if I have time, study some more or go for acting classes or dancing classes, because that's something I want to try right now. That's how I handle things in life alone. You gotta make something that you want to do. I'm not a person that is comfortable with going home, watch television, or even play games anymore, for the fact. But I'm trying, and I'm finding more about myself that I truly enjoy, which is something you also gotta understand about yourself. Sure, if you enjoy being in a group or people or talking with different people, sure, but don't always try to be part of the group. I'm talking about also value what you like. If you enjoy rock climbing, go out and rock climbing. You find individuals that are the same, or you're in a group or your best mates from kindergarten or middle school. And then suddenly they're starting to change, or you're starting to change, and you're not becoming part of the group anymore. You gotta have enough belief in yourself to actually understand what you want to do. And that's something I didn't understand in middle school, or rather in fact in high school, but I was starting to get it. It's something of the hardest thing to do, to be fully honest, is trying to be yourself. For people who are in middle school or high school or any kind of age. Yeah, I understand it's not always easy to try to be yourself, especially if you're in a part of a group at your workplace or your study companions or your friends. I was embarked in one of the same situations. I don't enjoy partying. I don't enjoy going to clubs. I just would either want to be at home, work, or go to the gym or work out. I want to be productive in my life, and it's something I actually never said that when I was younger. I was always part of following the group and to the next thing. And I followed to partying. It's something I didn't enjoy. Sure, I was lucky sometimes, and sure I wasn't. It's part of life. And it was just difficult to continue on watching people throw up, people wasting time on alcohol or partying. If it's something you enjoy it. And I'm saying it's what you want to do. It's not something for me, and I can probably say it's probably not going to be for me. If I were to choose to have some kind of party, I would choose to have my closest mates or some of the friends they know and enjoy probably game night. A board game or something like that is what you want to do. And I'm proudly can say that's something I would want to enjoy. Still, I get invitation about people wanting to join out for a beer or a pint or any kind of drink. But for me, it's not something I want to enjoy, and that's one of the hardest things to do is also saying no. Don't force yourself to be part of the group because, okay, you don't want to lose your friends. You're always going to get new friends as long as you socialize and try to talk to people. Sure, for some of you, being introverted is something of a difficult matter. I was also introverted before, but now I've become more and more lenient to the extrovert side. And it's more easily said than done. Yes, I understand it. I truly do. And to be honest, you always need to cut out bad friends. I'm not saying cut out them like, oh, they did this thing to me and they're really bad. If they're in a toxic situation or they're polluting your way of thinking to a terrible state of mind, try to cut them off of your life slowly and slowly, because if you truly want to be yourself and try to understand what you love, for example, you could be a music kid that don't enjoy soccer or football, but your only friends are football players and you don't feel like you belong there, but you still are there. And you are not truly satisfied with your soul or with yourself of being there. It's a difficult matter of choice and understanding. Maybe your mother or your dad forced you into football because you needed to be active, because you're like me, you're a fat child. It is understandable. Different situation creates different things, and you just gotta be honest with yourself. Understand it's more easily said than done again. But the more you open up and the more you're comfortable with yourself. That's what I'm pointing on to the earlier points in the video or in the podcast, saying how to handle things alone. How to become comfortable with yourself to the point where you understand, this is what I want to do. I want to be a musician. I don't want to be a soccer player or a football player. I don't enjoy this. Join a band, practice with different mates, and search with other musically gifted people. And you'll probably find individuals that you truly enjoy and enjoy the time with, because not every person is the same, and it's going to be difficult to be part of a group that you don't feel like you enjoy. So I'm saying, get towards the situation that you want to be. If you want to be a better person, or you want to be that person that isn't part of the football team or the soccer team, it's going to be difficult. You're going to get people who are either contradicting you or saying you're a horrible person because why did you leave us? We thought we're friends, yada yada yada. There are always going to be people like that. It doesn't matter if you're in middle school, high school, or in your working or studying time. There's always going to be people that is going against you, no matter what. And for those who are new or fresh, probably from middle school or high school, and saying, oh yeah, when I go into work, this going to be so much better, everybody's so nice, so friendly. No, it's not. I'm sorry. A workplace is basically the same thing as a high school, but you just gotta work instead. And honestly, it's the same bang. It's always socializing with people or your co-workers, so you gotta try to be with them. It's always the same thing. You're going to have people who are dramatizing everything. You're gonna have people there's always going to be like somebody who's a drama queen, or somebody who just makes it more horrible for you, or the liar, or the popular guy, or everything is always the same. It doesn't matter on what point you are or in life, or if you're in middle school or you're in older age, it's always going to be somebody. Now here's the problem. Here's the solution, and what I truly think is wonderful. Being yourself. It sounds so easy. It sounds so understandable. But being yourself and handling things on your own. Sure, if you're wondering, how can I do this? How can I do this? Go towards search Piggies in a Blanket podcast on YouTube or on, probably on YouTube, and you'll see Kejo. It is me, where you can ask me anything on the podcast or on the comments, and I would answer as truthfully as I can, as I'm still new at this podcasting thing, but I've enjoyed like rambling on and talking about matters of life. It feels good. I feel really happy with this. There's always going to be things that you don't know. Like, it's okay. It's okay to not know everything. I was obsessed with knowing I need to know this and I needed to know that and I needed to know everything about how everything works. I was obsessed with that when I was younger. Nowadays I understand I don't need to know everything. I just need to know the things that can grow me as a person and continue on growing towards the person that I ideally want to be. As long as I can continue on growing path to the goal that I aspire and want to be, and being the person that I honestly want to be myself, and it's okay. I don't care what other people are doing as long I enjoy it. Getting towards your goal is one of the most important things in life. Sure, some people may not have a goal. I understand people in the younger age don't understand what their goal is in life, or people at the older age of 40, 50, nobody still understands it. Now here's a little kicker that I want to explain to you. Try to find a side passion. I'm not talking a side hustle. A side hustle is something that you're not passionate about, or something you not want to work for eternity. It's something you, alright, I'll make money on this on the side. A side passion is something that you are enjoying all the time, that you know you're going to continue until the day you die. For me, it's YouTube, podcasting, acting, and making music. Yes, I love different things. I love so much, and I try to make it as much as possible. For those who are still wondering, what are your goal in life? Here's the fun part. For those who are wondering, what is your goal in life? What is my goal in life? What can I do? What can I do to make this or that or my life the best thing it can possibly be? I'm saying this through experience. Get to know yourself. Work on yourself. Work on understanding yourself, and work on becoming a better person of yourself. Then you'll start to understand, wow, I actually like photographing. Oh, wow, I actually love helping people in need, or I enjoy changing oil cars or engines, or I enjoy rock climbing. Do a side passion. And work on yourself every day. It doesn't need to be 12 hours a day. The time, for example, let's say this, the time you're going to watch a series on Netflix, turn that off. Spend an hour about yourself. Write the things that you want to do in your life. Make a bucket list. Make a goal planner. Explore yourself in the past thoughts of yourself. What do you want to do as a kid? Do you want to be a firefighter? Do you want to be an astronaut? Or do you want to succeed in kind of a field? You gotta understand yourself to make yourself go. Work on yourself. Take an hour, take 10 minutes a day and write down things that you want to do. Because after a while, you're going to forget about it. And after a while, you're going to understand, what is this? What is my goal? As long as you work on yourself and starting to understand yourself, you'll get a goal in your head. For me, it's entertaining and improving people and helping the people through the daily life. That's my passion. That's my goal. I want to help people. Make people laugh. Make people happy and entertained. And make people know their best day is to come. They can always improve. They can always become a better person. Because why I was in that situation, I had nobody that could actually guide me, or nobody that could actually help me during the times of my need. And I'm here on my grind and working while nobody's watching, working while other people close to me are saying, okay, you should just calm down, you're stressing your body too much, or you're working too much. I'm still not stopping. Now here's the thing. If I want to have this is my side passion for now, but one day I know I'm going to succeed and continue growing. I want to help people. I want to make people's lives better. And that's my goal. That's something I got to understand after 10 years of trying to understand myself, exploring new different things, going to the other side of the horizon and actually trying all kind of things, from gaming to making videos to working on shift to trying to be an actual normal person. I've tried so many things. I've explored and I understand myself a lot better than I did before. Now that you think you understand yourself, you're taking your time, taking a month to understand yourself, taking actual time to write down the things you want to do, things you want to achieve, and working on yourself to a point where you feel comfortable with yourself. Sure, everybody's not comfortable with their body. I'm not comfortable with mine. I work out 2 hours a day, or 2 times a day, and I still don't feel comfortable. It's going to be a long process. I understand there's diets, there's different things that I need to reconsider, and yes, I'm doing that. But here's the thing, it's a grind. It's not 2 months and I'm done, it's over. It's not like that. This is a long run. This is a marathon. This is something you gotta continue and continue, no matter how many times you want to fail. No matter how many times your body says no, you just say, fuck it. My mind is stronger than my body and I know I can continue. And it's not something you can always post on Instagram. Yes, sometimes I do it because I feel comfortable on showing people I'm grinding, I'm working, I'm doing this. And majority of the times I don't, because still I feel like I'm working myself. And this is something I know. If I can influence myself, I can influence other people. The grind is horrible. The grind is relentless. And you'll not always succeed. It is understandable. You'll fail. I'm not gonna lie, you're gonna fail a lot of times. A lot of times. But here's the thing, as in the beginning I said, you gotta understand the teaching and the learnings that you got from those terrible moments, the failures, the mistakes you've done. You gotta learn from it. Nobody's going to hand you a little answer sheet and say, okay, this is how you need to do and then voila, it's done. No, it's relentless work. Get a mentor, get somebody that you trust in or somebody you get inspired by. Me, it's The Rock Dwayne Johnson. He continues working, grinding. He sleeps for 3 to 5 hours a day. I sleep for now for 3 to 5 hours a day and it feels awesome for me. So it was horrible at the beginning, but now that I got into the flow of making this, I've been so productive. I've been working, I've been grinding my ass every day. And let me say this, there's been so many times that I don't want to grind. I truly don't want to grind, but I rather want to be on the grind, working my ass off, feeling the pain, than sitting on the couch watching some soap operas or Love Island and feel miserable about it because my life isn't as great as them. They're on television. I want to be on television. I want to be an actor, or I want to be a musician, or I want to be everything. I want to be something. This is the grind that is almost never impossible. It is relentless work. But not gonna lie, I am at the beginning of my journey. 21. People who are at year 40 or 60 years now understanding your time and what you've done in your life. But you feel like, oh, I don't have enough time. Stop complaining. Get out the running shoes. Get out the shorts. Get out the t-shirt. And pack your things and get out running. Schedule everything on a day. The grind, it never stops. You just need to plan every time. Plan out your work ethics and work on yourself and making yourself better. Don't brag about this to everybody that you're doing this or doing that. Sure, sometimes it's alright. If you start to see progress, you can explain why. But nobody is going to care. Like, in all honesty, nobody is going to care if you work hard or if you don't. No matter how much you grind, no matter how much time you invest in this, if they don't see success, or they don't see any progress, or you're making millions or thousands or hundreds of dollars a day, hundreds of dollars a day, or millions a week, they won't care. But when they finally care is when you're successful enough, and they will never understand the work that you did behind the scenes. Some people are going to be those who are closest to you, are going to say, no, you should just calm down, relax, take some time off, and just do the grind tomorrow. No, those are bad thoughts. I understand if they're your loved ones or your family or people you trust. But trust me, don't believe in that. No matter how much you continue saying, okay, I've worked enough, if you're not exhausted to the point of breaking, if you're not tired the moment you get into bed and directly sleep, do you really feel accomplished with what you did today? Do you honestly feel like, okay, and can't say this proudly to yourself, in about 10 years, say to yourself, the person you're gonna be in 10 years, yes, I'm so happy I took a break. You're not going to be that, because maybe that's the day that you actually succeed. Maybe because the day you thought, okay, I'm going to take a break. Maybe your song that you're going to release on that day or that making that time was going to make the one that hits the platinum plaques. Maybe that's the one that thing that's going to hit the plaques or get the first hit. Who knows? Maybe that's this day you start your multi-millionaire company. Who knows? You gotta continue on grinding. Maybe that's the video that will post and make you millions of views and finally become the YouTuber that you wish to be. Nobody knows. You gotta keep on grinding. I understand if they're the loved ones that care for your health. But trust me, they were never going to understand how much time and how much this is important for you. How much this is worth. This is your dream. This is how you want to achieve it. They're living their life. You gotta live yours. Take the boundaries on yourself. If your body can't handle this anymore, if your body and mind just says no, just no. Work until your ass is that tired. This is probably my favorite quote. Work so hard, by the time you come to bed, the only thing you can do is sleep. Become so tired, the moment you hit the bed, you're instantly sleeping and ready for the grind to the next day. Work so hard. Because, in my honest opinions, I truly trust the people around me. Sure, some people they say, okay, you should probably take a rest, you should probably take a break. You don't look that well. I'm saying continue on working. I work and I continue on working. Sure, it's not a mental state that fits everybody. I understand it. But sometimes you gotta realize there's days you're going to miss because you take a break. People on the grind maybe works on the project 60 hours a week. But in their head, they're still planning, they're still understanding the concept of work. They have that in their head all the time. They're taught and they're possessing, and their grind is always stuck in their mind. They're continuing working no matter if people see it or don't. That's what I'm talking about, grinding when nobody sees. Continuing working when nobody sees. One day they're gonna see the results and they're going to be furious. They're going to be sad that they didn't support you from the beginning. And I gotta be totally honest, you're going to have setbacks. Without doubt. I had setbacks 2 weeks ago. My week was horrible, not gonna lie. First off, I made a podcast. It was my second attempt of Piggies in a Blanket podcast. And I was talking about one of my friends, my YouTube friends. Trying to mention how he could improve his videos, how he could improve his channel, make himself better as, and what I feel uncomfortable and what I didn't feel uncomfortable with. We're trying to explain everything about it. And suddenly it rose to some kind of beef that he tried to turn it around or twist the story on how it originally happened. And during that time, I was stressed out from work. My stomach was bleeding internally, so I was in need of an operation and several medications, and my depressive thought just continually rose to a whole new level. That's been stuck with me for a while. Let me say this. It was a time I was on the grind, and this happened the same thing 2 years ago. And 2 years ago, I was in a horrible position. Girlfriend broke up, yada yada yada. And during that time I was working in a kitchen, trying to make some summer money because I wanted to be with her on Christmas. Happened so that she got pregnant with another guy's kid and led me to pretty much being sad in my car. After that, I was trying to improve myself, and I realized if I think too much of people and trying to be too comfortable with them and rely too much on them, is not their fault, it's mine, because I was not in a great state of mind, and I felt horrible, to say the least. I felt horrible. I was trying to continue. In 2 years, I tried to improve my mental state. Sure, it improved tremendously. Wait, I didn't thought it was possible. Now, same thing happened 2 years later, and honestly, this time was probably worse. But I felt happy. I honestly, the first day, everything just went to worse. I was not able to work. I got on a sick leave. I needed to go to operation. I need to go take medication, blood test. I had to go take a blood test. Dentist, because I was fucked up with my teeth. And the beef with my YouTuber friend. It all happened in one day. Wednesday was horrible. The only thing that I could do at the evening, probably 8 o'clock, I was outside in the terrace and I was just happy. I felt calm. I understood what I did wrong, what happened, what is happening, and I still just felt calm. Let me say this, during that time I didn't understand if what I had in my stomach was lethal or not, because there was a word expression, but apparently it could be fixed with some stitches and a lot of medication. So I was on that, antidepressive and anxiety pills, and yeah, it's 2 weeks or 1 week after that, I feel fine, because I knew my mental toughness was strong enough, and I trusted the doctors and people that are in that industry or in that profession to the point where it handled my life. I knew I was fine, and I know if I can be fine during a terrible moment and learn something from it, how I can appreciate people who are in the profession and how supportive and how happy they are to help. Doesn't matter if somebody that loved me doesn't love me anymore. I understand it's her loss. I enjoy myself. I know I'm a wonderful person. I'm trying to continue working myself and explain. I know. And you guys who are listening, I understand you guys are awesome people too, because you're listening, you want to improve yourself, and it's a wonderful thing to do. I'm not saying anything is bad about you, or I'm not saying anything is terrible, but you just want to become better. You want to improve yourself. I'm not talking about change, because I know a person is going to tell, oh, I want to change myself for another ass person. I don't want to be the same. No, I'm talking about you improving as a person as a whole and trying to understand yourself more. And yes, this is not going to be one of the longest podcasts, because I got the things out that I wanted to do it as the first podcast. It wasn't going as horrible as I thought it would. And for first, as a single podcast, I want to thank you guys so much for listening to me and Piggies in a Blanket podcast. Next episode, we're probably going to have other people joining in. For example, Arthur, Jay, or Doggy into this podcast, because I also want other people's opinion on how they feel about this. So if you want to improve yourself and work while other people are sleeping, welcome to Piggies in a Blanket podcast, where we talk how to improve ourselves, how to become better, and just different ways we can see life. I hope you enjoy. If you did, hit the like, subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're watching this on Spotify, please do the follow. But if you're watching this on Spotify, please follow the podcast. I'll try to regularly upload this every week and become better on making podcasts, as this is like my first ever podcast. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.